Coming back into week 3, we're going to be in the studios back in Cologne. Everybody is settled down here.
Now we can 100% focus on our team training.
It's up to us to step up the practice and play better and better.
Just 100% focus about the game.
Evil Geniuses, Fnatic, SK, they're all going to be comfortable in the Cologne setup.
Now it's definitely going to be more stable. We'll be based out of Cologne, out of our gaming house. There will be fewer games each weekend as well, which means we have more time to prepare for each individual opponent.
So really, it's those guys that should have the better position.
Expect high-level play from us, probably from the other teams as well.
I think we can finally focus on the game again, how much as we want.
Finish.
We're definitely going to be able to play way more, improve our mechanical plays, and then we'll improve, and that will show in LCS.
Welcome everyone to day 2 of our LCS weekend, live from our studios in Cologne, Germany. Now get some drinks and snacks because we've got an action-packed Sunday lined up for you, starting of course with El Clasico between SK Gaming and Fnatic. Now yesterday we saw the brand new NIP roster in action for the first time alongside some surprising results. Check it out. In our first match of the summer split back in Cologne, the heavily altered Ninjas in Pajamas squared off against the number 3 placed Meet Your Makers. There's an early first blood as NIP decides to invade NYM's jungle.
They're going to bounce him in the air. Can they catch him out? The exhaust is down. One more hit will be enough. There he goes. It's first blood to Kuba.
At 19 minutes in, we see the power of Baron once again as NYM gets caught in the pit.
Just close enough. Libic trying to life drain it. Deficio coming back in. Could he throw the Aqua Prism out? Will it be enough? He gets one down, but there's the Baron kill. Now Deficio, he can pick up another kill on Magna here. If he could just get one more damage down, forces the flash straight out. And here comes Maluna. Magna's in trouble. He goes down. And Meet Your Makers lose 3 members.
With NIP knocking at their front door, NYM decide to try a final engage.
Meet Your Makers are just melting to the slicing maelstrom of Bjergsen.
NIP's new lineup puts up a great first result with a convincing win over NYM. In the second matchup of the day, Spring Champions Fnatic take on Lemon Dogs. After ganks from either side at 10 minutes in, it's finally Nuke Duck on Fizz securing first blood.
Nuke Duck picks it up on Peke with the help of his jungler.
Rocking a small lead, the Lemon Dogs engage on Fnatic in the Dragon Pit.
Tabs doesn't go down, just about gets caught out there. Peke getting pancaked on towards the fish, not landing on anyone either. So Nuke Duck did come in involved in this one. We do see Peke, he's going to get a double kill.
And with the advantage in hand, the Lemon Dogs go in for the final push.
He can burst him down. Nuke Duck is down though. Is it going to be enough to defend it? Peke trying to do what he can, trying to catch on towards Falo and Dexter. So low, but it doesn't matter. The next Nexus turret has gone down. Tabs is just working it down. Sorry, Zero's working it down.
In an amazing back and forth game, it's Lemon Dogs that take home a hard-fought win over Fnatic. In a heated battle, first place Team Alternate take on the plagued SK Gaming. 6 minutes in, Pharrell and Lord on Lissandra sets out for a gank on top lane.
Comes in, they're going to slot down Kevin. There they go. Here we go. It's surely going to go near. This is looking like it will be first blood.
SK build up a solid gold lead and catch J-Ree out in their jungle.
Shendo coming down. Why is Pharrell not being involved in this one as they get bounced around? There is Pharrell Lord finally getting in on top of it. Doesn't use his ultimate in this fight whatsoever. And Alternate have already lost 3 men. Hercubot going to come over the wall. Ocelot now on the killing spree.
A well-deserved victory for SK Gaming as they take down the first place Team Alternate. In the last game of the day, Gambit playing with Spontex this week take on Evil Geniuses. After EG takes down 2 towers, finally a fight breaks out in the mid lane as Spontex goes for Froggen.
Actually, over there gets knocked away by Froggen, who somehow manages to pick up first blood.
At 22 minutes in, a lengthy fight breaks out in Gambit's jungle.
They turned around once again, but Froggen dives in, gets himself a kill. Monsoon will knock them all back, and that will be a strange 2-for-0 for EG.
It's finally EG that takes home a much-needed victory over Gambit Gaming.
But this damage is all going the way of Evil Geniuses.
The unstoppable force. EG still has 5. They're going to pick up the victory. That's 2-0 EG against Gambit.
A lot of surprises yesterday, and for a deeper look into yesterday's results and standings, I gladly send you over to the ever-cheerful D-Man and Quickshot.
Thank you very much, Shocks. Always cheerful here, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day 2 of the European League of Legends Championship Series. So, let's remind you guys about what happened yesterday, and honestly, how it affected the standings, because it was a bit of a crazy day. The top 4 lost to the bottom 4.
Yep, in every single game, I think all of the votes, the fan votes, were saying that the teams that would eventually win actually did not happen. So, we'll get those standings up in just a moment or two, and a lot of the games were very close. They weren't as one-sided as we have been seeing in Moscow and in DreamHack. Ninjas in Pajamas versus MYM. It was back and forth. It was back and forth. You've seen it in the highlight reel there. NIP, they gave up first blood on an invade with their brand new team, and then they really had to claw themselves back into that matchup. Yeah,
it was definitely an interesting start. We'll get them on your screen in just a moment. Lemon Dogs, of course, were the second match of the day. And honestly, they were in a very close battle. It was really a game of throws. I think I discussed it even with the teams, and they were like, yeah, they kind of agreed with that one, but they did take down Fnatic.
The point is, if you're making those mistakes, one team is always going to capitalize, and they needed to do it. And, you know, Lemon Dogs did it. You can see they've clawed their way up the top of the table. Now they're in that 4th position, where they're worsening at 6th going into week 3. And look how tight the middle of the table is there. 3 teams on 4 wins and 5 losses. SK and NIP, both of whom picked up victories yesterday, sitting at 3 wins and 6 losses apiece at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, and the big one, really, the shock of the day, I guess, was SK Gaming taking down Alternate in the second match.
Yeah.
Kind of wasn't expecting it, but, you know, SK Gaming, they came in prepared for that one. So fantastic matches all day long. So let's take a look at what we do have for you today, of course. First up, it is going to be SK Gaming versus Fnatic. El Clasico, it's been bounced around so many times, I'm not sure if we can still call it that, but we're going to anyway. Gambit versus Ninjas in Pajamas, Evil Geniuses versus Alternate, and then ending up the day, it will be Meet Your Makers versus Lemon Dogs.
And basically with how tight the mid of the table is, as well as the bottom, and just how important each of these games are, I think that the Evil Geniuses versus Ultimate matchup is probably going to be the most important one of the day, because Alternate have just looked so incredibly dominant in weeks 1 and 2. They still looked good yesterday, but they weren't able to make their play stick. SK was sort of ready for that aggression, and we'll see if Evil Geniuses will be able to take another win off the season leaders.
It was a strange day as well, because they actually gave Alternate everything. We were like, what are they doing? Yep. And it seemed like they had a plan for it. Yep. So that is what's coming up in just a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's hand you back over to Shocks, who's going to tell you how you guys can get in contact with us today.
Thank you very much, D-Man. Of course, we want to hear from you, everyone watching at home. All you have to do is hit us up on Twitter at @LOLesports, #LCS. And we also have the following Twitter question for you. How does the 3.8 patch influence your play style? And once again, if we read your response to today's question, we'll be sending you a cool Logitech G100S gaming mouse. But you'll need to follow @LOLesports and be sure to use the LCS hashtag to be entered. So hit us up with your tweets and we'll be reading the best answers on the show. And we'll also contact the winners via Twitter. And for all the info on the standings, VODs, stats, you can check out lolesports.com. And don't forget to cast your vote on who you think will win today's matches. Now it's time for a short break, but when we come back, it's going to be our first game of the day, El Clasico, between SK Gaming and Fnatic. Don't click that mouse. 2 of Week 3 here in the European LCS Summer Split. Now, SK Gaming pulled out a great win against Team Alternate yesterday, but what can they show us versus the spring champions Fnatic? We'll find out with D-Man and a quick shot. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Shox, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the first game of the day, which is, as we've said many times, El Clasico. It's what we like to call it, albeit, though, it's a very one-sided version of it lately because of course, SK Gaming versus Fnatic will be our next match.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an understatement when you say it's one-sided. 19 consecutive losses on land to Fnatic.
That's harsh.
19 games in a row. I had a very brief word with Ocelot this morning, and we were saying, you know, 119. Like 119 sounds better. He doesn't want to go 20-0. He does not want to go 20-0. So I said, well, if you win, it's now 1-0. Yeah, you scratch to it. So
he's ignoring all that though, because he's like, no, it's 0-0 right now. We haven't played each other at all. No history between them. Let's check out the lineups though. Of course, it will be SK Gaming starting off as the blue side. It is going to be Kevin in that top lane. The jungler will be Hercubot in that mid lane. The ever charismatic Ocelot, Candy Panda, also known as Caitlyn Panda these days, and Nif.
And of course, for Fnatic, Soaz up in the top lane, your all-star champion, Cyanide in the jungle, Xpeke in the mid lane, Yellowstar and Enrated as your duo AD carry and support.
So let's check what you guys have been voting for over at lolesports.com, because you guys can get on there, vote for all of the matches. And what do you guys favor this one?
76% of you think that Fnatic are going to win today's game. And that's either a blessing or a curse, because yesterday's votes didn't really work out very well.
92% or something like that against NIP. Lemon Dogs, rather, sorry. And yeah, that didn't quite work out for them. So the first game of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it will feature SK Gaming taking on Fnatic. That's a matchup that has been famed and branded El Clasico by us in the past.
We're not going to let it die.
It's always been pretty. They're usually pretty good matches. However, of course, with SK Gaming not being at their optimal strength in the last 2 weeks, how are they going to live up to the expectations of this match?
Well, if yesterday's game is sort of the testament, if we forget weeks 1 or weeks 2, we should be in for a good game because they managed to take down Alternate, and it was a game that they were in control. They, waited for Alternate to engage in them. They didn't fall prey to all of their aggressive initiations, and they peeled away, re-engaged on their terms. And no other team's been able to do that. Even when Gambit beat Alternate, Gambit was losing team fights when Alternate made the engages. So it was very good play, and it just showed teamwork and coordination.
And I can tell you, SK Gaming actually practiced. They had 3 versus Evil Geniuses and 3 games versus Gambit. And then when the EG Gambit game was playing on, I was sat there with them, and they were like, they're both playing the exact lineups we did it. Just simply, all the teams have to go by the fact that nobody talks. That's how their tactics managed to leak out there. So they do practice the strats with one another. Of course, Fnatic, on the other hand, though, have had some thrilling games this split already. Even the matches that they lost have been pretty much chaotic and exciting.
Yeah, it's actually quite harsh that you say that, because I'm thinking back to the loss to Alternate, where that was pretty powerful. And like you said, they've been very good games. They've had very good victories, but they've also been stomped very, very hard, like that matchup in Moscow, where Alternate simply destroyed them. The dominant Fnatic squad that we had in the spring split are not quite in control, really, as they are now in summer. And every single time they are not able to apply pressure on the map, they take losses. And it's exactly the same thing that happened yesterday. They couldn't get that wombo combo to work against the Lemon Dogs, and they lost the game.
Yeah, and, the match they had against Alternate, honestly, was probably my favorite one, I think, of the season so far. Certainly in the summer split. We're going to get Champion Select underway in a moment. Ocelot just adjusts his rather electric purple. Flamboyant is probably a better word there. Purple scarf, as we are famed for, honestly, these days.
One of the things about that loss as well was that Alternate they were so in control of the game against Fnatic. Fnatic had nothing. They could not offer anything in reply. So we'll see how they do. They bounced back. They looked okay-ish against Lemon Dogs yesterday. But again, the Malphite, the Orianna, it just didn't have the presence that they needed to do. And we'll see what they're going to pick this time around.
So the picks and bans coming in. Malphite being removed straight away, as has been Thresh. Not going to let Nif through on that one. Did manage to land a good couple of hooks. And every time he manages to pull it out. And of course, Malphite, it's interesting, taking away, it was Peke that actually ran it against Ocelot before in DreamHack.
And destroyed him as well. He won. That was a Malphite versus Orianna, and he was able to get 3 1v1 kills on him. Now, Ocelot's Orianna from yesterday was significantly better than what we've seen from DreamHack, to be very, very fair. Casterton being banned out, that's giving you a very big smile.
Yeah, they don't want Peke to backdoor them. So many times it's happened. It's always against SK Gaming as well. Nunu being banned out, fairly standard ban, honestly. He's been a very strong jungler come 3.8. As before that, in fact, 3.7, he was being used pretty heavily. Zed, now that's an interesting ban. We haven't really seen Zed a great deal. Of course, Soaz has been playing a number of champions. He's been playing Lissandra in that top lane, so we'll see how that works out. And Elise.
We haven't seen too many Lissandra bans, but we have seen a number of Lissandras being played. So with her available, the question is whether or not SK have been practicing with her. We know that Fnatic has. Twisted Fate was let through, and it looks like Ocelot's immediately going to take this one away.
This is the standard, so many OP champs let through.
Yes.
I'm not sure about Twisted Fate as the first pick, though, but it generally always is, if it's available.
The thing about that is that if you've let Twisted Fate through, if you're on the red side with Fnatic are right now, they've made the decision. We ban Shen instead of Twisted Fate. They are more afraid of Kevin's Shen than they are of Ocelot's Twisted Fate. And the cooldown is significantly longer at these lower levels, so we'll see how this works out for them.
And it does, of course, mean that there's a lot of champions available to them. Jarvan could be one that Cyanide jumps straight on. We'll see what they're going to go with. Elise, of course, Soaz has been running so many times, has only lost twice on Elise in his entire history in the European LCS, and looks like he's already got it selected. Pretty much going to get it locked in.
And the thing about Elise as well, remember Peke's run Elise in the mid lane.
Yes.
He built to a lot of spell vamp, and when you do locked in, and now you start going, okay, well, it could be Soaz Blitzcrank. Not going to be, but...
So N-Rated was practicing with this. I walked past and I was like, oh my god, Secret Champion can come pull back out Blitzcrank. And he said, you love it if you do. And he has.
And he's locked in. The thing that I like about this right now is you've immediately got, okay, well, whatever we lock into our bottom lane, we have to be very, very cautious with that because Blitzcrank's immediately going to be pulling you in. In addition, whatever else SK lock in, Peke can go, I'm happy to take Elise versus Twisted Fate.
Let's not forget we've also had Soaz running Blitzcrank in that top lane.
We have.
Which is...
less inclined to think of that, but yeah, but it's a possibility. It has worked. It picked up a victory against Evil Geniuses in the spring split. I think they sort of baited an Anivia pick out of that. Very wisely, Ezreal locked in, which just means you're going to instantly hop over that hook. Nif is going with a comfort pick of Sona, and if he gets caught, he's going to get insta-gibbed.
That, for me, is a strange, because Sona's a very slow champion and easily to get caught out, so we'll see how that works out for him. Ezreal, of course, was picked up by Candy Panda yesterday in great success. We have seen Yellowstar running Twitch a few times, so this is possible. Twitch actually has been picked a number of times also by Doublelift in the NA/LCS.
And Candy Panda in the spring split as well. He was running Twitch a good number of times in those matches, in those games. Twitch is very powerful in the early game thanks to his expunge. Just gets a lot of stacks on you very, very quickly. And then as the game goes on, with his massive range and spray and pray in conjunction with the massive siege potential that a Xerath is going to put down, that's a very good long-range engage. The one thing that's interesting right now is both Soaz and Peke are sitting on teleport. And I don't know if that's going to change, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
We'll see whether Peke does lock in that Xerath. Xerath's been a very strong champion when it's been used before, but I'm trying to think, Peke, I'm pretty sure has run it already in the European split. And actually, I don't think it was too successful.
I think he lost the game.
Right.
No, you are 100% right.
How is Jace snuck this far through?
Jace, neither picked nor banned. Now, the question is, does Kevin play it? Because if Kevin does, you could have... That's a lot of poke. Twisted Fate, Ezreal, and a Jace. The problem is then you're committing yourself to a poke composition.
Team,
And poke teams are very, very difficult to actually be victorious with. If you fall behind, if you get caught by a Blitzcrank, if you get jumped on by an Elise, you can get shut down. Irelia, we've seen Kevin playing a lot, and he did very, very well with Irelia in the spring split. Probably the only player that was making that champion work for him, but at the moment is swapped over to the Berserker.
Lissandra is bouncing through them all at the moment. They're all champions that have been used a number of times. Could it be that Kevin has maybe been pulling out Lissandra in the top lane?
It wouldn't surprise me. We've been seeing a lot of top lane Lissandras. We've actually seen, Darian ran it and things like that. If it's going to swap to Ryze, similar type of role, close range AP mage. But the nice thing about this is if Xin Zhao or Ryze get pulled into a fight, it's exactly where they want to be.
Yeah.
They are happy to get pulled in. Lissandra's a little more squishy because if she does get pulled in, she can use her ultimate to do that mini Zhonya's on herself and deal damage. But Ryze is even better. He pops his ultimate, gets all the splash damage, gets the spell vamp, and survives any of the damage he's already been taken.
So we're waiting for the final pick. We'll see what it is. I'm pretty sure Hercupop played Xin Zhao yesterday as well.
Correct.
So there's a couple of comfort champions that they worked very well on yesterday.
Cyanide could take Elise in the jungle if they want to do. This is another thing, and I think this is maybe what Fnatic are talking about right now, saying, well, Peke is going to take the Xerath for the mid lane. He's going to try to control Twisted Fate as best as he can, use that massive range to stun him. And I don't know if Cyanide wants to go for a Jarvan, which would work very well against the Xin Zhao on a Rise. Just lock them in Cataclysm and, you know, cool guys don't look at explosions, walk away, and they're stuck in there. It worked for Gambit.
Oh, could it be Kennen slicing Maelstroms? Where the heck is Kennen going to go? This is going to be Elise jungle.
Yeah, Elise jungle, Kennen top lane then. So they did decide they wanted to put the Elise in the jungle. They're going to think that Kennen to deal with Rise in the top lane. It's going to be a difficult matchup in the later game for Kennen and Soaz. But in the early levels, the ranged harass, and until Kevin actually gets any items built up, he's going to have the advantage in that particular position.
So those are the team setups, and we'll see how it works out for them. SK Gaming, have they managed to pull themselves something out the hat here with the Twisted Fate lock-in, which doesn't normally allow itself to surface, or when it does, it's normally in the hands of Peke.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things is SK have been backdoored so many times, surely they know the ingredients to a successful backdoor, because now they've at least got them in the pot. I actually think that SK's team composition is more powerful than Fnatic's in this particular regard, because if Fnatic don't get a pick with Blitzcrank or with Xerath, their team fight power is not as in your face, as brutal as that of the Rise and the Xin Zhao. So there's a lot of pressure on Cyanide's Elise to be in and out, picking the right target and making sure he doesn't get insta-burst by that slicing Maelstrom of Kennen.
Well, we'll see, ladies and gentlemen, whether Fnatic can take it to the 20th victory, or will it be SK Gaming finally breaking that duck and getting themselves a win here in the LCS. That would take them to 1-1 so far in this summer split. Of course, they did face each other. That was at DreamHack, I believe.
Yeah.
It's been a long 2 weeks.
It's been a very, very long 2 weeks. We've had a lot of games and a lot of action-packed games. And the fact that the middle of the table is just so closely contested.
Everybody's beating everybody
Correct.
right now. And it's the same in North America as well. This season really is pretty chaotic because, of course, it's all about getting the World Finals. You know, the fact that we've just seen the news of the Taipei Assassins effectively crumbling. It's pretty much they have been over the season, but to see Stanley and Toys going surprises you. And obviously, this is all building up to that pressure to reach the Season 3 World Finals. These teams legitimately can get themselves a place there. SK Gaming were there in Season 2. Fnatic win into the spring season. They want to be there for Season 3. Yeah,
and Fnatic need to get some more wins if they want to get closer to that, because at the moment, they're much lower down the table than they were hoping to be. You can see we have jumped into the game. SK Gaming on your screen there in the blue trunks and Fnatic in the red. Early level, probably going to see some defensive setups from both teams. You never want to face check a Blitzcrank. You never ever want to go into your enemy jungle when there is a Blitzcrank there, because if they've got some vision, you're just going to get hooked and instantly popped.
Yeah, he's not going to take anything else at level 1. It will be the hook. We'll see where he goes with it. He has got ward placements around that red buff, so looking like they want to go for maybe an invade here, the way they're all set up. Fnatic want to go in towards that red buff. Invade, SK Gaming potentially looking to do the exact same thing, and they won't get spotted for a good period of time.
Yeah, at this point in time, there's a lot of wards placed for both teams. So if SK do invade on this red buff, they will actually get spotted out. Ocelot's primed that gold card up, so he's managed to move himself in there. And this is something they actually did at DreamHack, if I recall correctly, and were unable to actually pick up any kills. The same thing's going to happen right now. Fnatic down in the bottom lane, they're looking to invade themselves, and generally it's just a pretty slow start right now.
They are set, ready to go. Looks like SK actually may be backing off. They probably realized that we've not really seen much of them. Soaz also going to do the same. So that tells me Soaz will be going towards that top lane. SK Gaming still positioned up there. I think they're expecting the duo lane to transition up towards the golems. Instead, they could just jump out straight on towards Soaz. If they stick around, they're pinging it. They want to go looking.
That's a very scary combo as well, because the Rune Prison, Gold Card, and then the knockup from Xin Zhao, there's so much crowd control.
They're moving.
That's just going to lock them in place. Minions are there. Are they going to pull them out? This is the question. They started on the double golems, and I think Soaz is going to spot them. So,
impatient play. Yep. I mean, they could have just stuck around, but instead they are going to go for the red buff invade, which is not a bad deal in itself. So it's going to be Hercubot taking that red buff. It means that Cyanide starting off at the blue will have to go for some sort of crazy invade here. They have got a ward placement down there, SK, so they're going to keep vision of this, and Rated is going towards it, and I think he's going to pull it out the back.
Yeah, definitely, and Rated has the ability to at least do that if Cyanide gets there quickly enough. Smite is still available. Hercubot is aware that they'll probably be doing this, because look at Ocelot and Hercubot's positioning. They're moving down already. Gold card's caught Cyanide. There's a fight.
Cyanide's going to go in. He's going to get the dock up on towards Rated. Not really the damage there, because Peke came down just to help out. It was a 3v2. But it has stopped the invade.
Brilliant play from SK. They knew exactly how much time they needed to get the red buff, then to get down to defend theirs, or at least challenge for it, interrupt with it. N-rated losing 50% of his HP means he's going to burn through potions early, and he's less likely to pull somebody at this early stage of the game because he's missing so much HP.
As it is, the lanes have returned to the bottom, and N-rated taking a lot of damage from Candy Panda early on there. And they're going to try and keep that sustain on. Remember, we are on 3.8 now here in Europe, as well as obviously the North American scene. It does mean we see a number of different starts. It does mean double Fairy Charm, actually, in that mid lane from Peke, and a couple of pots. I think he had some wards early on. See Doran's blades on both of the AD carries. Fairly standard stuff across the board, though.
Yeah, except for the summoner spell for Peke. He's running Cleanse on Xerath, who's meant to be one of the longest range spellcasters in the game. So it's very interesting to see him decide that he's afraid of the Zinzao, he's afraid of the gold card, he's afraid of the root from Rise, and the Crescendo, of course. So basically, when people jump on him, he wants to be able to just cleanse, flash to safety, and use that range, that siege power to continue dealing damage.
Absolutely. Let's have a look. We do see Peke going back. He's just gone back to buy. Ping's going down on towards Cyanide as well. They're keeping track of his movement. SK Gaming have good vision right now. So as in his top lane, he's under a little bit of pressure from Kevin. Kevin's bullied him right up towards the tower. Quite happy to shove that lane. But Kennen shouldn't have too much of a problem farming out on that turret. Sowers would just be happy in that situation. How do you stand on this one? The fact that Kennen versus Rise, it's not really a lane we've seen a great deal of in Europe, but it's definitely something they run in Korea a lot.
Yeah, and it's actually something we used to see as mid lane matchups in Season 2 that was, you know, a little bit more commonplace when Kennen was still being picked then. It's a matchup that Soe should actually be winning early on because of the range. Right now, though, Candy Panda and Nif getting a lot of free damage onto Yellowstar. And in terms of the champions, they sort of counter one another in very similar respects. The moment Kennen runs in, you just put a Rune Prison on him and walk away as Rise, and vice versa. If you're Kennen, you get a stun down, you can negate that Rune Prison. So it's a pretty good skill matchup as far as the champions are concerned.
The Chalice was picked up early for Peke in that mid lane. He has got himself a 10 CS advantage over Ocelot right now. And expect him to just continue to honestly let that farm, because Ocelot's not really going to be looking to continue try and keep up with the farm. He wants to be looking for the kills, wants to be roaming for the ganks. Let's see how that works out for Peke.
Peke is going to be keeping this lane shoved the entire time. You can see he's got a ward on the north of the river, and he basically wants to prevent the Destiny from being powerful. Cyanide has moved up to the top lane. They've jumped on Kevin.
It's gone in, but Hercubody's there to try and fend him off. Kevin's taken very low. He goes down. First Blood's there, but straight away Soaz drops as well. And the two junglers, they stand pretty. It is a double buff, though, for Hercubot that he's got right now. And, of course, he's the one that picked up the kill. It means fair trade between the two. Both junglers managed to pick up an assist as well.
One of the things that's so great for Hercubot, though, is he's got that massive creep wave, so that's going to get him so close to 6. Because of Peke's great range, look at how much pressure Ocelot has. He's level 6 almost. Oh, they've caught Nif!
The hook goes on towards Nif, and you can see Candy Panda. He's going straight for Yellowstar. He's not worried about his support. He knows he's going to be safe. Is it going to be enough? No. Has to get away from that one. Barrier was burnt as well as Flash there. And Candy Panda, he didn't use anything. He just went straight aggressive.
Yeah, burned all of his mana, but it's totally worth it when you win those engagements. You need to focus the AD carry. Simply put, Fnatic thought they could kill Nif before they would lose a member themselves, and it didn't work out in their favor. So, good play. And again, we're seeing Candy Panda and Nif winning out their lane. They did this yesterday as well.
And Hercubot, well, he's visiting back into the top lane, but Cyanide is still sticking around. This is going to be a replay of the fight we've just seen. Which way will it work this time, though? Looks like Cyanide is going to back off, as is Hercubot. So it's not going to go either way.
Those gamers' sensors, they're just tingling at exactly the right point, saying, well, we don't really see a gank here. And I think as well, because the wave was pushing against Soaz, that's a lot of creeps. That's 2.5 waves worth of experience and gold. In the mid lane, Ocelot.
Ocelot's getting dumped on the Arcane Barrage. Will it be enough? No, it's not. Peke kind of running out of mana there, and Ocelot, well, he's sticking around. The pings are going down. Hercubot may well come and try and help him out here.
So Hercubot's going to need to, at the very least, cover the lane, and the fact that Peke is low on mana and he doesn't have his ultimate means that Ocelot's a little bit more safe. As long as he sidesteps that very, very long-range Xerath, he's going to be okay for the time being. One thing that is interesting, though, is just how quickly Ocelot got bursted down. That's no additional ability power on Peke at all. He's using the penetration that he gets from that locus of power to deal so much more damage this early in the game.
Well, Peke has gone, Ocelot has gone back to bite, gets himself a little magic mantle along with the amplifying tome, so a little bit of magic resist to try and fend off that burst that just happened. Blue buff will be picked up. Cyanide's going to be helping Peke for that one, and it does look like we may even get an early dragon here. The ping was going down. I think they're just warding it up, maybe. Or will they go straight for it? It's Very early Dragon. No, I was going to say
It's just vision.
Would be surprising. Yeah.
I think the fact that the Twisted Fate is against them and a level 6, it's too risky. Destiny's being channeled and he's gone in.
He's gone straight in, but he's gone straight into a Power Fist and a grab. He does manage to get towards Yellow Stars. A lot of damage there. The flash comes out from Candy Panda. Will it be enough? Yes, it will. Ocelot picks up the kill, and now they may go for Dragon.
Because they have the numbers advantage and the Destiny was used to get full vision on it. We do see, though, Ocelot's been stunned.
Ocelot's getting dumped down again. The Arcane Barrage coming out from Peke. They're going to try and focus him, though. Candy Panda immediately Arcane shifts towards him. He's landing a lot of damage there. And ready to go with the hook out. You see Hercubot jumping in, but Cyanide goes full on aggression, tries to turn it back around. Can he get back in? They're all very low. Candy Panda does pick up the kill on Peke. And look at Cyanide. He's managed to crawl away on a very low health.
SK managed to get a very good advantage in the early game, but they did not pick up the Dragon right now, so keep that in mind. Even though they lost one member, overall, that's less gold given to your enemies than losing a Dragon at this stage in the game. So, yeah, it's not good for Fnatic, but they at least managed to interrupt the objective, and that means they might want to play on it.
And just towards the end, there was a snipe attempt with that True Shot Barrage. Didn't quite land, though. Cyanide was out the way of it, but Candy Panda just trying his luck. Seeing if he can get some more kills. Working out very well so far for SK Gaming now. 3-1 up, and that's 2,000 gold advantage already built up. No real pressure on any of the turrets, though. So it's going to be a much longer drawn out one. It's going to be interesting to see how Candy Panda builds his Ezreal as well. You can see he's got that Vampiric Scepter early on rather than jumping straight for the tier.
He went damage dealer route yesterday, if I recall correctly. He did not go for the blue build Ezreal, which has sort of become the norm.
Flavor of the month.
Flavor of the month. And actually, that build might work against a Kanan and a Xerath. If they do get in on you, you can just slow them down, use that Iceborne Gauntlet. But I think Candy Panda will work towards. He's been hooked. Yellow Star's going to get some damage down.
Arcane shifts away from that one. Just backs off. And more importantly, he did get that blue buff away from Peke, who'd only just got it, I think, a couple of minutes before, so that may well cause problems. We just saw Ocelot getting the blue buff himself, so he's going to be up against Peke without a blue, and you can see in terms of farm between the AD carries, there's a big gap starting to stretch here.
Candy Panda and Nif have been winning out that lane in its entirety, and with that blue buff, it's just going to be even easier for them to do so. They're just going to be non-stop spamming those abilities, and you can see that they're playing very aggressive. They've got good river wards, and they're keeping the lane shoved. Ocelot is about to get his Destiny up and available, so we might see a gank in that bottom lane in the not too distant future.
Ocelot went and got a Cage's lucky pick as well. We'll see how that works, develops into. And the bottom lane, as we were mentioning, the fact that he has built up that damage difference. I wonder how that's going to equate. You saw it's 1,000 gold between them already that Candy Panda has over Yellow Star, and that's a dangerous, dangerous start for them, especially as a Twitch.
So Hercubot's moved himself towards his position, and just like you said, because of how squishy Twitch is, it's actually very easy to jump on him, and when you do get some CC to focus him down very quickly. The Cage's like you picked for Ocelot, that's going to work towards the Twin Shadows, and it just works really well for his kit. He needs movement speed to avoid the siege power of Xerath, and obviously the active slow is going to play into his favor. 10-minute Dragon has been started. Cyanide is going to move into position, use that Spiderling for vision. And this is now a 3 versus what's going to be 4 in the Dragon Pit. Peke does have his ultimate, so look for it from range.
4v4 now because SK Gaming have all gathered up for this one. Ocelot get caught with the cocoon there, but they see that Dragon taking very low. Oh, tried to get the steal and dumping on towards Hercubot. Peke taking him very low. He's going to try and escape from this one. Crescendo used. Is that simply going to be used to back away? Twitch has used his ultimate as well. Spray and pray on towards Candy Panda. Cyanide jumps in towards him. Not a great deal of damage, but look at Ocelot and Peke. Enrater's going to come and try and sort this one out. Now they realize how much they're in trouble. Are they going to try and get interrupted? Yes, they do. Just get the stun card. That's going to be the wild card going down as well. While this is all happening, Candy Panda's been taken down, but that's going to be a double kill for Ocelot. Cyanide can chase here. He's going to have the speed difference, and he's walking through a ward. He's not being so sneaky here, and he's going to cut him off the path. He has pulled out the yellow card. The stun card's going to be enough to get him away. He's going to try and repel for it. Is it going to be enough? He's going to stick them bangs in. The red buff, will he be ticking? He gets the stun card down, but in comes Yellow Star. One more shot does it, and that is a shutdown for Yellow Star.
And the blue buff gets transferred all the way over to Yellow Star, but what a play from Ocelot. That double kill thanks to his Destiny usage, even after he got hooked. There's a fight in top.
So as going in and slicing Maelstrom, he's got 2v1. He may actually get on towards Kevin, but it's not matter because his jungler's there to save the day, and Hercubot picks himself up another kill.
Hercubot is the instigation of change here for SK Gaming. He started the Dragon, got very, very low, recalled, healed up, went to the top lane. We watched that massive fight around Dragon, which SK won, and then SK picked another fight in the top lane thanks to Hercubot's presence. They have double the kills, they have a 3,000 gold advantage, and they're looking very good in the early stages of this matchup.
You see the Twin Shadows now being picked up by Ocelot, so that's going to help him next time he starts going aggressive. I thought he'd actually gone a little bit too deep when he went in there, but Enrated pulled him in, and Wildcard hit both him and Peke. So it did him a favour eventually. The AD carries, let's have a look at those. You can see double Doran's Vampiric Scepter and BF sword, no, aka the best friend sword.
The best friend sword.
Of course, is the real meaning of that word. I'm not too sure what the developers were thinking when they came out with that one. Maybe they were happy with friends.
Yeah, they had best friends. Right now, Enrate's looking to get the grab. That was a very awkward-looking animation, but as is the power of Ezreal, he arcane shifts to safety, and you can't pull him in.
You can't pull him in, which is also why it's such a fantastic pick for him. We'll see how it develops late game, though. At the moment, Candy Panda obviously building towards that Vampiric Scepters, as is Yellow Star. Peke and Cyanide, they're going to come around, get themselves that blue buff. This time, Peke is going to hope to hold it a little bit longer than he did last time.
Yeah, and the blue buff that was actually picked up 3 or 4 minutes ago, or a couple minutes ago, has been transferred a couple of times, is now sitting with Yellow Star, thanks to all of the action that's been going on. So we could see a never-ending blue buff, as it were. Hercubot is sniffing around for another gank. He's got those boots of mobility already. 2-0-1 at the 13-minute mark. Gonna take those double golems, and he's in a very good position just because of how quickly he can move around the map. Look at Ocelot's position of blue buff. Destiny's being channeled. They want Soaz.
He's going in for it, but he's going to have to flash if he really wants it. He does. Flashes, gets the stun card down. Kevin comes in, puts that Rune Prison down. Slicing Maelstrom going to come out. Is it going to be enough for Soaz? One more hit should do it. No, he missed the last Shuriken, and Kevin manages to pick up the kill, but Peke's going to come around. Cyanide is closing in as well. I'm not too sure whether Kevin's going to be able to try and get away from this one. The repel comes out from Cyanide. One shot comes out. Is it going to be enough? The Arcane Barrage, can they land on towards Peke Ocelot? They do get the stun down. Peke instead chooses to try and clear the way, to try and get those minions up to try and safety. Gets the stun on towards Ocelot. Cyanide's going to come in. They're trying their best to tank out that damage from the turret. Ocelot's got no mana. Now he's got the blue card out. Throws it out. Peke's in trouble now. He gets caught out. Uses the flash cleanse, but Hercubot saves the day again. Picks up the kill. And the tower took down Cyanide for a kill for Ocelot.
Ocelot has picked the Tango Twisted Fate skin, and he is dancing around every single one of the skill shots. He has juked and gotten away from everything, and he got himself 2 more kills. 9-5 up. Candy Panda and Nif, they're putting pressure on the mid lane tower.
Well, Enrated's going to come in. He's going to throw that hook out again. Force the flash this time around from Candy Panda. Didn't really have the mana to try and arcane shift away from this one. Soaz goes aggressive, but straight away, Candy Panda and Nif turn it back around. And SK Gaming are ready and waiting for a fight today. 9-5 up in kills. They are looking very good.
Ready and waiting, I think, is the wrong term. They picked a fight, and they're winning them right now. Every single time they use Destiny, it's working. And I distinctly remember throughout the spring split, whenever we had Twisted Fate ultimates, the first 1 or 2, if they didn't pick up kills, it was a bad position for that TF. Right now, 2 successful double kills after the use of that Destiny. Ocelot is going to get stunned here by Soaz and hooked.
Going in, gets hooked, gets straight dumped on the Arcane Barrage. This time does manage to land and find its home. Soaz is the one that picks up the kill, but that was a lot of ultimates used to try and get him.
Well, fair play. They picked up the kill. If they had stayed in the lane, they maybe could have applied more pressure on the tower. We noticed just before that, both the top and the bottom lane towers for opposing teams are starting to run low. So this is, you know, a light breeze worth of damage away from falling down. And very similarly, if Fnatic push that bottom wave out, it'll be the first tower to fall.
There's a big CS advantage built up between Soaz and Kevin as well. You can see it's around about nearly close to 30 CS between them. In terms of gold, it is very, very close though, because Soaz has died himself 3 times. It's only just a, 200 gold difference. So not a great deal of difference there. 1,000 difference for Ocelot though. That's definitely building up. 500 gold for the jungler of Hercubot. You can see the 280 carries. We talked about that stretch earlier on. It's actually closed a little bit, that gap margin, but it is still a 600 gold difference. And that is just the supports as well. Yeah, it's only about 300 gold difference. I tell a lie, that's 1,000 difference between those. Wow.
Very big difference, and a lot of that's going to have to do with the assist and the fact that they got that dragon, etc. So that'll play into their favor. Kevin really wants to fight Soaz.
Rune Prison goes down. Hercubot's going to collapse on towards him, puts that ward down. He's going to get the 3-ton strike. Is he, though? He gets stunned up. Will it be enough? He's going to have the tower dives. Kevin got caught out this time. Flashes in. Honestly, the tower could go down at a swift breeze, and Hercubot realizes it and finally takes it down. So that's a tower and a kill, but you can see Fnatic, they're taking the invisible dragon.
They're going to be able to take this one down. It is there, we promise. And at the moment, just because it was taken from Fog of War, it hasn't been drawn up. Peke is running interference, trying to protect the entrances there for Ocelot. Tower for Dragon and a kill. SK came out better in that situation. End of story.
Oh, Candy Panda looking, sniffing, trying to find himself a rat. But instead, Yellow Star snuck on past. Look at the difference, though, between the junglers. What are they doing? You can see it's, while Hercubot's been running around playing the hero, effectively picking up those kills, He's managed to go the standard jungler route, I guess you could say, but Cyanide, he's going up all about the ability power and the magic penetration.
Yeah, it's basically, it fits into Elise's kit so well. Because she's got the Spiderlings to help her tank in the jungle and they give her sustain, she can afford to build that damage. But the important thing to note, Hercubot has a 2-level advantage over Cyanide right now, thanks to the presence he's had in lane. Even the times that, you know, a gank has failed or not worked out, when his solo laner has died, for example, Kevin in the top lane or Ocelot with that gank, he's there to pick up the CS, pick up the experience, and that's why he's got this big level advantage over his opponent right now.
So at the moment, it's just a 1-turret advantage for SK Gaming, but if you do recall, that mid turret is very, very low. Not really seen these bottom turrets, haven't really been pressured, either of them. N-rated still lingering, waiting. Hercubot's going to try and sneak himself into this bush, but he's going to get spotted by the ward and, of course, by the minions this time, because he just walked straight up the lane. So they were already waiting for this one. It does mean that Soaz is actually grouping along with Peke and Cyanide in this mid lane. They may try and put pressure back on Ocelot again.
They're keeping the numbers advantage. It may be just to try push the tower down. And what we actually seen in that bottom lane, N-rated was poising as though he wanted to grab Sona. He was looking for a hook onto Niffen and see if they could burst him down. So blue buff is up. SK are not going to challenge for this one. They're going to allow it to go over to Fnatic. And we actually haven't seen too many jungle invades from either team yet because there's been so much action in the lanes.
Yeah, that's 3 members, though, of Fnatic that came around to secure that blue buff. And Soaz looking like he's now joined the bottom lane. Now, I think they expected a big push on that bottom turret. And that means they left Kevin alone in that top lane. He's just been free farming.
Also, because of how far the wave was pushed for Soaz, it was very risky for him to stay there. Yellow Star stealthed in. They want Candy Panda.
He's managed to use the spray and pray, but Arcane Shift comes out. The hook's there, though. Beautifully done. Candy Panda hasn't got flash available. Crescendo had to be used by Nif. Is it going to be enough? Tries to get away. Expunge comes out. Yellow Star flaking very low, but Candy Panda even lower. He's still got True Shot Barrage available, but look at Cyanide. He's sneaking off the side here. He may try and get in there. Instead, he's going to back away, and Ocelot's in trouble. He can't join the fray because Cyanide, Peke is going to catch on towards him. Dodges out the side of that one. While that's all happening, the bottom turret does go down. Now they're up towards it, the hook again, but it's Hercubot pulled in, quickly uses his crescent sweep and knocks them all back.
This is absolute craziness. There's no time to even react to this because every team is throwing every ability they have at one another. Nif gets man of the moment on that previous engage because he locked up 2 of the Fnatic members, crucially Soaz as well, preventing him engaging. The entirety of this, Kevin has been split pushing the top lane. That tower's down to 50% HP, and finally someone from Fnatic has been able to respond.
They finally do manage to deal with him, and that means it will be Kevin backing away, but that's gained a lot of CS. He was obviously close in terms of CS, or far behind in terms of CS with Soaz, but he was close in gold. That's going to give him an advantage. SK are going to get this middle turret. It's taken very low already. Hercubot and Ocelot, they're going to have this one. It's going to take it to 2-1 in turrets.
Yeah, free tower is just going to deny the vision from their opponents, and now this might actually signal the let's start invading the Fnatic jungle a little bit. Yellow Star stealth up. Watch Cyanide to come in with the repel. They're going to pick a fight, and there they go!
They're going straight in towards Candy Panda. Arcane shifts away. This time he has got flash available, but look, coming down the river, it's going to be Hercubot ready and waiting to get involved in this one. The flash hook comes in and immediately launches on towards Peke. Ocelot's going to join the fray. He throws out that stun card, lands it. Hercubot picks up the kill. Yellow Star goes down.
That was a brilliant reaction from Ocelot to get in there with the Destiny. Now they have the numbers advantage. They could have actually pushed for the tower, but instead they're playing it safe. They didn't know 100% where Peke was. He was moving down the river, and I think SK said we're not willing to pick this fight. And Kevin has just been left alone, untouched in this top lane. If he carries on this pressure, this is going to be another tower for SK.
And honestly, the stronger Rise will get as late game goes. And he's just being free to roam around, do what he likes. And he's just going to stroll on back and say, don't worry, guys, I got this. And that's an inner turret down.
So we do see the locus of power has been channeled by Peke, and Ocelot just runs completely the opposite direction. He's like, nope, don't want none of that. Immediately moves down. The fact that he's got Lichbane as well as the Twin Shadows, it's all that additional movement speed. It's going to allow him to sidestep that initial stun. And as long as he can do that, he's not going to get popped.
So we're seeing some build differences from the AD carries. You can see Trinity Force actually being built up by Candy Panda along with that Bloodthirster. And Yellow Star didn't go for the Bloodthirster. He went straight for the Infinity Edge.
Well, he needs the damage right now. There is burst that comes from Xerath as well as Kennen, obviously, but he's losing out the lane. So basically, this is just, let's get spray and pray. Let's get crits across everybody as the bullets fly through the entire enemy team. And as long as SK stack up, that's going to work out very, very well for him. And because you got Ryze and Zinza that dive straight at you. It's definitely going to happen once we get to these team fights.
They're going to maybe jump on towards Kevin. Yes, they will. The slow comes down. You can see the damage is putting down on towards Cyanide, though, but the spray and pray should be enough. Honestly, he would have absolutely wrecked Cyanide in that 1v1, but he wasn't being fooled. Yellow Star with that spray and pray helping out.
Even in a 2v1, he wrecked Cyanide. If it wasn't for a couple of those auto attacks, definitely would have gone down in that particular situation. Cyanide working towards that Aegis of the Legion. He's a couple hundred gold away from it being completed, and that's going to help him survive. Right now, though, SK have stacked up a little bit towards the Dragon. It will be spawning in 15 seconds. They're putting vision down or wards down to make sure that they can challenge for this Drake.
Oracle on Nif, I think I just caught a glimpse of there as well. So he's going to sweep out those wards. So that's a pretty standard, actually. So I was just thinking about to say pretty early, but this game's been that action-packed. Didn't realize it was already at the 23-minute mark. It's been constant flow of action. That bottom turret actually very low for Fnatic as well, so haven't really got too much of a safety net, but the rest of Fnatic are reacting to this one. Kevin's a long way off, though. He's in the base still, and it does mean Fnatic are going to have the position for Drake.
It's very interesting that SK actually haven't pushed that bottom tower down. If they had done that push a couple minutes ago, they would have then had the vision and the real, powerful positioning on this Dragon. Instead, they didn't have it available. Now, Destiny is there for Ocelot, so he may pop this in a second. Twin Shadows goes out. Once this gold card's primed, they might go in, but Dragon's been picked up already.
Dragon's gone down. Ocelot, though, is going to try and catch on towards him. You see Hercubot, he went in. That's going to be Kevin catching on towards, running rated, taking very low. Candy Panda will finish him off, but you see, there's just not enough damage coming out from Fnatic. How are they going to react to this one? So as Cyanide's out of position, and, well, Ocelot spotted him straight away. They're going to come around. Hercubot's going to take the turret down. He's got nowhere to run. Goes straight in towards Hercubot. He gets absolutely exploded by Kevin, and that is a 2 for 0 for SK Gaming, but the Dragon went to Fnatic.
So they do have a little bit of advantage for Fnatic, but with 2 kills and, on their opponent's team and the tower, SK are definitely in a better position. They now get to steal the blue buff as well. And nice pick it. He got it. Pick got it. So steals that away with the Arcano Pulse, is going to have enough ability power to make that land, but a 4-man SK Gaming are now putting pressure on the bottom inner turret. As far as teamfight power goes, their composition is better. Fnatic need to pick someone off before they go, and there goes Soaz.
Slicing Maelstrom comes out, but straight away gets locked up. You see Peke from range, so he might be able to get him towards Candy Panda. He's just outranged him straight away. Ocelot does take down Soaz. Oh, he hasn't quite got the poke on towards Candy Panda. Everybody evacuates. Wildcards being flung back. Yellowstar taking a couple of those. He did use that spray and pray early on. Kevin continuing to get plunked off. The Twin Shadows will be available in a moment for Ocelot. I think it was just on cooldown flash from Kevin, making sure he doesn't get locked up. Hercubot was coming down the river, but it's merely just defensive purposes right now. There's a giant wave pushing along that top lane, though, that will have to be dealt with by Fnatic, so they can't continue to push.
Soaz will probably be the one that's assigned to clean that wave up. He will be respawning in about 10 seconds time. Right now, members of Fnatic are going to try steal this red buff away, and if Candy Panda stays there, he's very, very low. He's toying with his life. Hercubot does have his smite available. True Shot Barrage goes out, and he's just going to smite to take that. Make sure it doesn't get taken by your opponent. So, pretty good. The one thing that did actually show through that was impressive by Fnatic, that was only Soaz initiating and Peke from range, and they almost won that team fight. So, under slightly more optimal positioning, they could actually win a team fight, even though they are 7,000 gold behind.
Well, now Peke's just picked up that Rabadon's death cap. He's going to certainly be doing a lot of damage, and if he can catch on to the right person, an Ocelot or a Candy Panda, he will drop them very quickly, especially a Nif as well. He'd go down very quickly.
Like a sack of potatoes.
A sack of spuds, proverbial. But wards being put out. Ooh, Peke actually finding N-rated there, and then he's going head-to-head. Pinging it out there. Neither of them actually had any cover. This time Ocelot is with him, though. I'm going to see if they can try and pick him off. Wards, of course, being put down by Fnatic will get cleared out. And it is Nif that's going to pick that one up.
One of the things that's very big to point out about Nif, he's had this Oracles for a little while. He's got a Shirelia's Reverie completed. He's pulling a James Bond 007 as far as his stats are concerned. And because of how powerful the engage and disengage is with that Shirelia's Reverie, as long as they're kiting and controlling and peeling like they did against Alternate yesterday, they're going to continue winning team fights. So it is a brilliant item pickup. And Nif has just been so good yesterday and today with his Sona play.
Full-on invade from SK Gaming here. Fnatic not falling for it. They've put the ward out in the right place, and they immediately do get spotted. Peke is going to get their chain of corruption down, get him straight on towards Nif. Nif getting dumped up, but he flashed out of it just before he was about to go down.
200 hit points. I mean, he got away with 200 hit points. 1,700 damage was dealt in that 2.5 seconds. And if it wasn't for a Ruby Sightstone and that additional HP on the Shirelia's Reverie, which is 250, it would have killed him.
But while this is all happening, we see Ocelot, he's continued to split push in that top lane. He's just shoved another big wave up there. So Fnatic, they're just trying this desperately to fend off SK Gaming, but SK are quite happily picking advantages every chance.
Yeah, and the longer this game goes, the better it is for SK. Rise scales fantastically. Xin Zhao scales fantastically. Twisted Fate, everybody knows, scales fantastically. Blitzcrank is going to become less and less relevant because they're not going to be able to just insta-give one of those 3 targets. Once the Zhonya's Hourglass is picked up by Ocelot, even he's going to be happy to get pulled in and pull a Messiah, as it were. Pop the Hourglass in the middle of the team and distract the whole of Fnatic.
It's been a long time since Messiah's been able to do that, I think, for Team WE. Of course, that is in the Chinese LPL. Right now, though, it's 6,000 gold, and we are coming up to the 30-minute mark, and 14-7 in kills. Well, 4-1 in turrets. What's looking like? Oh, they do finally manage to actually take the mid turret down. So finally Fnatic caught SK napping.
Yeah, it's the first time in a long time. I want to see how Fnatic play this game now because they've lost vision. Look at the wards on that minimap. Same thing happened to SK yesterday when I was looking at the minimap against Alternate. They had just millions of wards littered across the minimap. And it's actually what MYM was doing so successfully at DreamHack as well. Complete vision superiority. Once you know every move of your opponent, you can make the best decision because you have more information to work with.
Absolutely, 404. We're talking about maybe a James Bond there. What do we think? What do we think he could go with? What sort of Bond? Is he a Daniel Craig? Maybe a bit of Roger Moore, Sean Connery?
Sean Connery. Has to be Sean Connery. Have you not seen Nif's rugged looks?
Well, he's right there. He's right there on your screen.
Got to be the Sean Connery.
The little blue corner. I'm not sure about a Sean Connery there. It'd have to be a very young Sean Connery.
Right now, though, SK Gaming, they've started off Baron. 29 minutes on the clock. They're going to be well aware of when Fnatic are coming to challenge because they've got so many wards littered across the map. And this is something they just want to pull Fnatic in with. Use it as a magnet.
Candy Panda, I think he thought it reset there. He wasn't expecting to walk in. The Baron just turns on him and he's just like, God damn. He's just absolutely nailed me. Lost a lot of hit points there. He's going to get that back with the lifesteal though. He's already got that Trinity Force complete. So, well, we know that does tons of damage.
Yeah, tons and tons indeed. Ocelot was poising himself for a gank. He was sitting in that top lane, sort of hiding around. He does have Destiny available, so when they go, fully commit for this Baron, you'll probably see Ocelot starting the Destiny just for vision, just to be well aware of everybody's positioning. Fnatic are looking to challenge, though. There is a pink ward in the bush, so they're well aware that Fnatic can see them. Can Enrated get the hook? That's the question.
Well, more importantly, are they going to bait him enough? Has to use that overdrive to try and get away. Candy Panda trying to catch him with a couple of shots in the back. Oh, the hook does get thrown out. Doesn't land, though. Soaz did get some good damage down, though. It was Hercubot, I think, that we managed to catch on towards there. Candy Panda split away from his team, being very, very aggressive here. Kevin also using his ultimate, I think, to clear the wave. Actually, tell a light. No, he's still got it available.
So Candy Panda, with his flash and his arcane shift, he can afford to play a little more aggressively. In addition, if he baits out that rocket grab and he's able to arcane shift away, that's a 15-second cooldown that he's able to just completely bait. Right now, Hercubot has started Dragon, while the rest of Fnatic are pushing the wave. They know that is happening, and the stun just misses Candy Panda. I think Fnatic are aware of this Dragon, but it looks like Hercubot's backed off.
Yeah, they're pinged on towards him. They said, right, fine, if he's down there, maybe I'll try and push his middle turret. You know what, Ocelot's well away from this one as well, so they may be able to get in towards that. Oh, Kevin just getting out the way of that hook. But the wave gets cleared, and they really did put a great deal of damage down.
So if they can do that again, they may be able to get it within killing range. With a Twitch and a cannon, you actually drop those towers pretty quickly, but they've relatively short range, so it's quite a risky place to be when you can have a Xin Zhao and a Rise jumping on your face. Destiny's being challenged, and here comes Ocelot.
Ocelot goes straight in there. The crescendo comes out. He uses Zonya's Hourglass a little too early. Soaz also does another one. You can see the hook, though, from Enrated. Are they going to be able to try and lock up towards him? No real kills going down, but it's going to be Hercubot. Will be the first to drop. Kevin now involved, and Fnatic are going to turn this one on its head. They jump on there. Saras is not enough, and Cyanide manages to get on towards him. Candy Panda has to back away, but that was a very, very good exchange for Fnatic.
Fnatic did brilliant at the beginning of the fight because they backed off as SK engaged. So the crescendo came down, and it didn't have that big of an impact on the matchup. Remember that Candy Panda did not have his True Shot Barrage either. He used it to farm the wave or to defend the tower earlier. So a 2-for-0 and the first teamfight victory that Fnatic have been able to put on the board in quite a while. They have started Baron. It's going low, but it's taking a lot of time, and Candy Panda might be able to snipe this.
True Shot Barrage is up in just a couple of seconds. There it goes across. Not too early, though. He's going to have to get away. Soaz might be able to catch him with the Shuriken. Yes, he does. And now Soaz Ocelot doesn't realize he's in all sorts of trouble. The Baron has been taken down. He gets locked up, and it's another kill. And the curse for SK Gaming against Fnatic continues as they now have a Baron, and 5 members push up the mid.
They're sieging. Look at the massive creep wave up in the top lane. Yellow Stars decided to move move over and try to shove that wave down. They could probably get 3 towers here if they roll to the top lane very, very quickly. Doesn't look like that's the call, though. Instead, they want to back away, maybe even take Dragon, because that still hasn't been taken. But Fnatic are not aware of that. They do not know because they don't have the vision for that one. A very good turn of events, and all of a sudden, 400 gold difference.
All of a sudden, Fnatic are right back in it, ladies and gentlemen. You need to be watching this one. If your friends are not watching, get them online right now, because it's 14-11. As you mentioned, just 400 gold was swinging between them. It's up to about 700 now because the big giant creep waves are being cleared out. 4-4 in turrets, and of course that means it is Fnatic with the Baron for the next 3 minutes.
The one thing that I don't like about that engage from SK, that was a very aggressive move. That was Ocelot using his Destiny to get in the middle of the team. He wanted to bait out abilities and then Zhonya's hourglass it up. But Fnatic read it so easily. They knew that that was happening, and they peeled instantly. If SK want to make plays like that happen, they need a more confined space. They need to do it in the jungle where Fnatic are less able to run away. Thought about it. He thought about it.
Yeah, Rangers was like, no, I'll just take the wall.
Yeah, he had Cyanide to back him up, but I think wasn't really sure everybody else was, in terms of the depth of the SK. Right now, Fnatic, they're going to start off Dragon. This should be their second Dragon of the game, if memory serves correctly. And it was uncontested, completely for free. So well played by Fnatic.
Just trying to see, it looks like they've got about 2 minutes left on that Baron, so they're going to be moving down towards that bottom lane. Ocelot does take himself the blue buff. He's actually a long way away from this one. I think Fnatic, if they're quick enough, could just push straight on for that turret and get it before they even react.
Ocelot does have his Destiny, so he may be able to come in from behind. He's immediately running towards the mid lane. Fnatic should have enough time if they focus it and do it really, really hard, which looks like it is the plan. You see Twitch, he uses that ambush, gets that additional attack speed, and another free tower. So, good usage of the Baron buff so far.
And for the first time in a long time, Fnatic are now in the gold lead. And still behind in kills, but that doesn't really matter. It doesn't equate to everything. It's all about the global objectives. And right now, Fnatic are leading in that state. Wards being placed down, Oracles are clearing those out. And Henraid is just trying to wait off of that side, see if he can land one of those ultimate hooks at the start.
At this stage in time, whoever gets hooked is going to get caught out. Hercubot gets burst down by that arcane barrage of Peke. The inhibitor turret loses about 30% of its life, and whoever gets hooked by Enraged, it doesn't matter whether they're a tank or not. They're just going to focus him down, because if they get a 5v4, it's a free inhibitor turret. Hercubot's healed up, and thanks to those home guard boots, he's back in the fight.
Straight back to it. Candy Panda, he's the one that's really going to be targeted. Has to use that True Shot Barrage to try and wipe out the wave. She catches Yellow Star a little bit with that as well. Enrated still with that overdrive, desperately trying to find that hook. Of course, don't forget there's Cocoon that could come out from Cyanide as well. He could try and start something off there. We'll see whether that goes down. Peke is going to have his ultimate back available in just a few short moments.
It's a 45-second cooldown, and I think they're waiting for it to come back up. You'll notice as the seconds get lower and lower, now all of a sudden Fnatic have moved themselves forward. They've grouped up as a very tight unit, and when this goes, this is going to go super quick.
Nif just trying to bait out that hook, I think. Ooh, there it was.
Everyone's holding their breath.
Nif's going taken a little bit low. Just one little burst from Peke, that was. And every time, look at that turret, it's down halfway. He's going to go for the ultimate. He does manage to get down. And that is Nif getting dropped. Now it's a 4v5 on the turret.
No crescendo, and that is very, very important. Fnatic will probably just brute force their way in on this next minion wave. They have the numbers advantage, and if anybody does get involved in a fight, they can simply silence them with Blitzcrank. There's one thing that doesn't work for them, a massive creep wave in the top lane. They have no teleport to deal with it, so somebody has to recall and deal with that hundreds and hundreds of golds worth of minions.
It looks like they are going to go back. They're trying to back away. Oh, but you can see Destiny's being popped. Ocelot's going to go aggressive. He wants to get Yellow Star. He has to go through. And the flash guard, well, he's going to just pull a red card instead of a stun. He's going to get on towards Cyanide, though. Will he throw out the stun? He repels straight to blue and gets away.
Cyanide's timing was really, really good because he used the repel after the card had been flung. So the cooldown was popped, manages to get to safety. And unfortunately for Ocelot, he drew a red card onto Yellow Star's Twitch. So he was just slowed down in the Dragon Pit as opposed to actually being stunned up. Right now, 14-12. Fnatic still with the gold lead. Blue buff has been given over to Peke. Massive creep wave is now dealt with in the top lane, and we'll probably see them sieging up again in the not-too-distant future.
Well, Baron, of course, down. The fact that now it is just, well, 600 gold between the two teams. Still very, very close. SK are not out of this one by a long shot. You see Nif, he's going to just go straight down and get those wards down. Hasn't got an Oracle this time around, though, so we'll see who's manages to pull that one out. Well, it would be Hercubot this time around. N-rated still with that Oracle running is going to come in. Doesn't clear the wards out. He is on his own, though.
The gold difference is actually very impressive for Fnatic because if you look at how far ahead they are in CS, in the top lane, 50 CS, in the mid lane, 50 CS. In the bottom lane, they're actually losing, or they're AD carry by 50. But thanks to the TF passive, everybody's getting additional gold for SK, and that's sort of what's keeping them very, very close right now. They're being very brave. They're grouped up in this mid lane as 5. You'll see Cyanide rejoining this very, very soon. And it looks like SK wisely decided to back away. They weren't really sure if they could push in that situation.
Just look across the items. You can see everybody's starting to get some pretty beefy builds right now. 2, 3, 4 items completed by some members. So they're definitely starting to run into the strong power.
Strong power is a great way to describe it. Locket of the Iron Solari picked up by Enrated, so once that Xin Zhao and Ryze dive in there with all the AoE, that shield's going to come up. Here comes Nip, the crescendo!
There's a crescendo, he corners towards Yellowstone, immediately gets melted. Hercubot's going to be the focus of target for Peke. I'm not too sure that's the right call, so as he has to use the Zhonya Zalgas, he's going to get dropped down, and there it is, the double kill comes in. Enrated also going to get focused, he gets dropped, it's a triple kill for Candy Panda, and now Ocelot's going aggressive. He's going to try and get on towards Cyanide, and Peke wishes to use the Zhonya Zalgas, finally does it Messiah, but Peke's not falling for it, pops him down, and they try and snipe him from the side, but that was a 3-for-1 fight.
3-for-1, which was brilliant in favor of SK. The Shirelia's Reverie showing how powerful it's not over.
Candy Panda comes in, can he get the Quadra? Yes, he does, it's an unofficial one. Nevertheless, he might be able to get a Penta as well. He's going to come in towards Cyanide. One more shot will do it. Scumbag Kevin.
He takes it away. The Shirelia's Reverie rush immediately into Crescendo. They lock down Yellowstar, and that's all that mattered. They didn't care about anybody else. They're deciding to back off and heal because Baron is up in 5 seconds time. They cannot afford to be pushed out of that Baron pit. The one thing that was also very interesting, Enrated flashed in to pop his ultimate and silence everybody once his teammates were dead. He needed to do that earlier. He needed to jump in there with Soaz's cannon, get the silence down, and try clean up, but it didn't happen.
Everybody with home guard boots as well, just charging straight back to that Baron. They're going to be able to get there way before Fnatic can react to this one, and they're all going to start it off. And honestly, I think they could probably get it before Fnatic are able to get close. You can see how quickly it's going down. It's down to almost half health already. Here comes Enrated, who's going to throw down that ward. Manages to spot it out, but the Oracle on Hercubot will clear that one straight out. Enrated's going to have to try and do something here. It's going to go down. SK Gaming get the second Baron of the game.
So this is going to put a big pause button on the Fnatic pressure right now. They're not going to really be able to engage this very powerful team fighting composition with Baron buff up. Yellowstar's able to pick up his red buff, Ocelot's going to pick up his blue buff, and basically now all of a sudden, SK Gaming will start the siege. They're going to be knocking on the inhibitor turrets of Fnatic and seeing if they can find a way in.
Well, Candy Panda's going to get himself that red buff. He's going to be double buffed up, in fact. And now they're going to be going, looking for the kills. Triple buff, technically, yeah, because of the Baron as well. Soaz wipes out the wave, and he's not going to be able to split push too long. And suddenly, it's Fnatic on the back foot, back on the defensive. SK Gaming get themselves back into this one, just like the Fnatic Lemon Dogs game, ironically, where Fnatic managed to throw away their advantage against the Lemon Dogs. Have they done it to SK Gaming once again?
Well, we'll see right now. You can see Cyanide Enrated. They're set up on the side. Cocoon goes out, catches a minion. It's not what they're looking for. Enrated, Overdrive is up, but he eats a red buff-infused Mystic Shot and slows him down in his tracks. He's not able to continue the pressure. Right now, this is a great position for SK, and dare I say it's exactly the same as the first game from the spring split, where they were so far ahead, and as Soaz engaged with Eve, came in from the side. They won one team fight, Fnatic won the game. We're at that point in the matchup. If one team wins a convincing team fight thanks to the power of their composition, they can just roll right through. And you can see there's Ocelot. He's split pushing on the bottom lane. Destiny's available, and the siege is on.
They're going to push towards, try and take out this inner turret. You do see just off the side, though, is Peke and Cyanide. So they're trying to create opportunities, but they're going to have to send someone to deal with Ocelot. He's continuing to split push. It's Peke that's going over there. Now that means the mid lane is going to be exposed here, and that means everybody should be able to shove straight in towards that. It is a Baroned up SK Gaming, remember, so they have a stronger presence if they can get on towards the turret, but without minions, not going to get too much damage down.
It's quite a smart move actually sending Peke, because he only has to move, let's say, like half the distance from one lane to the other, thanks to that immense range that Locus of Power gives you. He's going to keep shooting out those Arcana Ponsols and trying to lock down the lane as best as he can. Another hook misses, and I've got to be honest, Enrated's hooks have not been as game-changing as they would have liked.
Well, Ocelot stuck around in that bottom lane as well. So again, he's cleared another wave down, which means Peke's had to come back across again. It gives SK Gaming another chance, another bite at the pie to try and get the poke on towards that turret. You can see it's already very low now. That Baron buff, though, it's not got too much longer on it, and it's kind of being wasted. There's a giant wave along the top lane, though. Ocelot's still in that bottom wave. He's now close to the inhibitor turret.
Without Peke, there's not that much wave clear coming up from Fnatic. The volatile spidling is pretty good for Elise, but it's not the best. Peke's now been forced to deal with this massive wave in the top lane, and SK realize they've got a great opportunity to fight this bottom lane inhibitor turret.
They try and go for the quick split, and they may well make it count. You can see there's a wave of minions coming in, and SK Gaming going to step in towards that turret. Look at that damage they put down towards it. They've gone aggressive on towards Candy Panda. Crescendo comes straight on. Soaz gets that Zhonya's hourglass out, but that's immediately going to get caught out. True Shot Barrage comes out. Hercubot dives in. Kevin gets up the kill. And now finally Peke has managed to rejoin the fight, but is it too late? It's going to be a 4-on-5 push on the mid Baron. On the Baron?
On the inhibitor turret.
On the inhibitor turret with the Baron.
Brilliant crescendo again from Nif. He locked up Soaz, prevented him getting anywhere near the rest of his teammates. The hook comes up, but it's on Xin.
It's on Xin Zhao, and he wants to go straight aggressive. Dives in there. Candy Panda gets the turret down, and now the rest of the team comes in there. Enwraith is going to get focused on. He gets dropped. It's Candy Panda that picks himself up a double kill. Hercubot did go down in that whole exchange, but you can see SK Gaming have been in and done their job. They've got the inhibitor down and straight away back away. Great play.
Hercubot says, thank you for that. I am happy to be pulled into your team. It is exactly what he wanted to do. He manages to dive in there, and that is the problem. When you do have a Blitzcrank and you've got these tanky, beefy bruisers to deal with, Xin Zhao he sacrificed himself for the inhibitor, the dragon, and now map control. If SK roll back, they could steal that blue buff, but I don't think they're going to risk it just yet.
SK Gaming are on the verge of doing something they've not been able to do for many years in League of Legends. They are 19 games down to Fnatic. Can they finally turn it into a win? We're into the 40-minute mark, ladies and gentlemen. This is where Ocelot begins to get worried, because they have thrown the game so many times at this stage, despite the fact they're almost 7,000 gold ahead. You can see the pressure. He's flexing that scarf, the flamboyant purple scarf that he's got on today. And this time around, it's him that's on Twisted Fate and not Peke.
We'll see, maybe he wants to get it with style points as well. Go for the backdoor action with the inhibitor down with Destiny and that massive amount of damage thanks to the Lich Bane. He can take turrets down incredibly, incredibly quickly. We'll see how SK decides to play it. The Baron should be up within the next couple of minutes. So that should be the next big objective for SK. They'll allow the super minions to push down that bottom wave and just let the minions do the work for them. They're going to start the siege in the top. And look at this is a 4-man stack. Hercubot's going to be a little bit late to the party. And once again, Peke is being left to deal with these big creep waves.
Down that bottom lane, Enwraith is going to throw out them wards. The wave will get cleared very quickly by Yellowstar. Of course, they don't have the Baron buff on them this time around, so they're not going to be able to siege it just as quick, but they will take away everything from the jungle. And that's going to be another red buff for Candy Panda.
One thing that also is very important, very crucial, Yellowstar has sort of stalled on items for a very long time. Yellowstar has been sitting on that Bilgewater Cutlass, pickaxe, and before it was a Negatron Cloak. Now it's been upgraded to a Quicksilver Sash for probably 10 to 12 minutes. That has not been upgraded further. He still doesn't have his Blade of the Ruined King. He still isn't working towards that Mercurial Scimitar or even a Lost Whisper. And there's a lot of armor on his opponent's team to deal with right now.
Just looking across, you can see Ocelot almost got that Rabadon's Death Cap to go along with the Zhonyas, with the Lich Bane, with the Void Staff, and the Twin Shadows. He's going to be doing a lot of damage if he gets on to, say, Yellowstar. I mean, honestly, he could maybe even two-shot him.
I would not be surprised. With the Lich Bane damage, a gold card, and wild cards, Yellowstar might go down. He does have a fair amount of magic resistance thanks to that Quicksilver Sash. It is sitting on 111, so that will play into his favor, but no additional HP obviously means that is one very squishy rat. SK, they decided to not siege, decided to back off. We talked about Baron. It will be up in 30 seconds. And I think SK, they just did very deep wards. You can see the map is just littered with SK wards. They're throwing them out like garbage, and they just see everything that's happening.
They have full coverage for that Baron that will be up in 20 seconds time. They know exactly what their goal will be, and they're going to make sure they keep hold of it. You can see Cyanide, he has that Oracle on, so they want to prevent him getting into that jungle and clearing out that ward coverage that SK Gaming do have, but 5 seconds is the counter. SK are already making moves.
SK are going to be there for the moment that it spawns. Fnatic they're aware of it. They know it's coming up, and they're trying to get in position, but SK have baited so incredibly well. They've positioned themselves in the jungle, but they've split up. I've never, ever been a fan of these pincer movements in League of Legends. They tend to be very risky. if Fnatic face check, SK are going to dive in on them. A flash crescendo from Nif is definitely a possibility.
That's what started off the last fight. Yellowstar went down very quickly when caught out. Ocelot's finally coming across here. Fnatic don't want to fight for it. They realize they've got a super minion stack coming in the bottom wave. They have to go deal with that one, and it's going to be SK Gaming getting the third Baron of the game and the second one for themselves.
Smart decision by Fnatic, because if they had tried to contest that Baron, SK just would have dragged it out. They would have just went in and out, dragged it out, allowed the super minions to get onto the Nexus turret. So I think a smart tactical decision from Fnatic to give up the Baron buff, and now they're just going to try and find that pick again. Get the cocoon or get the rocket grab to land. Right now, finally, SK are grouped up. This is a 5-man push. Ocelot is not split pushing with the rest of his team. They've stacked up. Pekka's going to try clear the wave, and he does a very good job of it.
Well, there's an 8,000 gold count difference in terms of gold right now, but of course you add the Baron on top of that, you're almost looking at a 16,000 gold difference. And Rated, look at that, thought about going for it. Overdrive has popped. He really wants to land one of those hooks, and it is going to be so crucial as he bugs out onto a side. I know what's going on there.
No, unfortunately, that rocket grab didn't land. Soaz was thinking about going in. Arcane Shift is down for Candy Panda, but it's a relatively short cooldown, so that'll be up in about 5 seconds' time. And Tower is just being poked down with each consecutive wave. 1 or 2 auto attacks from Candy Panda. Look on the minimap, guys. That bottom wave is a massive creep wave building up there. Probably 2 or 3 super minions starting to amass. And at some point, Fnatic will deal with it, like Pekka is doing now. And this might be the go signal for SK.
It will be the go sign. The slow gets thrown out from Yellowstar, but it's a little too early. Doesn't catch on towards anyone. Soaz is trying his best to keep them away, but those super minions are causing problems for Peke. Now he's going to have to come across. You can see N-Rated really wants to land one of those hooks. The cocoon on Candy Panda may be the time to go, but instead they turn it back around. Zonya's outcast comes out from Soaz. Isn't enough. Everybody disengages. Bait straight back on towards him. Crescendo catches on towards him, but look at Peke. Peke melts Ocelot where he stands, and N-Rated is going to try and get in. He needs to land a hook. It's crucial. He's got flash available if he goes for it, but instead they have to back away. There's still super minions on that inhibitor in the bottom lane, and SK Gaming, they go down 1. It's a 1-for-1 exchange, but that was a close fight.
That was a 1-for-1. That was their fault. They should never have been caught by that cocoon. Candy Panda just barely dodging the rocket grab. Actually, I think Hercubot body blocked it, if I recall correctly. A very good engagement for Fnatic, but they're holding on by the skin of their teeth. If they make one minor slipper, SK will win the team fight and win the game.
And look at the speed of SK. They've all got those boots charging themselves back in there. And they are immediately going to respond, try and get on there. It's going to be the bottom inhibitor turret. I would have thought, sorry, the inhibitor they're going to go for this time around because it is exposed. I'd be surprised if they don't try and shove that one down, get those super minions on the go again. They still have the Baron for another. That's around about 70 seconds left on the timer. They're actually going to pick up the Dragon en route. Well, Hercubot can solo that one.
Yeah, at this stage in the game, that's going to be very easy for him to do. During the course of those last engagements, we do finally see Yellowstar. He's actually completed that last Whisper. So the pickaxe has been upgraded. He finally has that massive armor penetration to go along with the big critical hits that he's landing with that spray and pray. That might actually help them out in these team fights because there's a very defensive or very tanky SK Gaming team to deal with. They're positioning themselves once again, hugging the wall, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for a hook or a cocoon to land. And if SK overstep their bounds, they might get caught out.
It's a 6-item build, Candy Panda as well. He has 8-5 in terms of kills, lots of gold. And you see straight away, Peke wipes out that wave. And that is going to be the defense. If you think you cast your minds back to Sharu on Meet Your Makers in the promotion series, he had to do the exact same thing, and he did manage to drag that game out a long time. We're up to the 50-minute mark, ladies and gentlemen, so don't rule Fnatic out of this one. There is 8,000 gold difference, but they have 72,000. That is a big chunk of change. There's a lot of items across both teams, so anyone, if they just get caught out in the wrong position, will go down very quickly.
Candy Panda's brave.
Candy Panda looks towards it.
That was very brave. He was literally face-checking there saying, do you want to go? Do you want to go? Let's fight. He still has his Arcane Shift to jump away, but no flash. So keep that in mind. If Candy Panda does get hooked or cocooned in this next engagement, this may actually be the time to kill him. While SK are toying with Fnatic in the bottom lane, Ocelot's pushing the top lane, using those wild cards and his 6-item Twisted Fate to keep that wave pushed.
You can see Peke's had to try and react and clear that, but Ocelot goes straight back there. So this is going to be Ocelot keeping pressure. This is how they got that bottom turret as well. And immediately Pekka's like, God, that Spanish little... both from Madrid, I believe, as well. So his compadre, I guess you could say.
His hombre.
Hombre, maybe. Who knows? Let's not step down that line, though. We do see the inhibitor starting to take damage this time around from SK Gaming. And this is exactly what they did the first time they took it down. They're slowly going to work it down. Let's see if they hook in Herky-Bot this time around. Ocelot backs away. He's trying to keep close enough that he can throw out that ultimate and get in towards the base. You do see a big creep wave in the bottom lane. Ooh, he's popping away there.
About it.
Well, he's got the Banshee's Veil, so he's quite confident.
If Soaz had popped the Banshee's Veil, he may have considered going for a flash. The reason he couldn't, because he doesn't have the cooldown available. So they may want to continue stalling. The top turret has been dropped. So Ocelot has been successful in that siege. And currently, Yellow Star's the one trying to fend off the minions that are coming in, as well as the Twisted Fates. Now, at the moment, it's just split push city. SK haven't committed to either of these inhibitors, and Fnatic, they're waiting for an opportunity. This might be a go signal for them.
Well, Yellowstar just completed the Blade of the Rune King, so he's just popped back to base and got that. He will keep that wave clear, but it looks like SK Gaming, without the Baron buff now, are going to back away, so it's bought themselves a little bit of time. Red buff being picked up by Ocelot. You can see in the corner of that screen, but it does seem that the big creep wave that's going down the middle has finally bought Fnatic some time and a little bit of breathing space.
They're holding on by a sliver right now, because this is very similar to what we've seen from Evil Geniuses and the Lemon Dogs, when they were playing from behind, and if EG made one little mistake, it would cost them the game. Exactly the same situation for Fnatic. If they ride this knife perfectly, win one good team fight, they can get an inhibitor. They then need to win another team fight to win the game. So SK have basically got like 2 mistakes they're allowed to make. Fnatic are only, if they lose one, that's it, they lose the game.
We'll see how well that works out for them. Of course, every time we do reach this late game phase, SK Gaming get very, very nervous, and understandably, because 19 times they've lost it. And can they just get that one victory? 19-1 would sound still pretty bad.
1-0. 1-0 is how Ocelot
1-0 is all they're looking at.
Destiny looks like it's actually been used by Twisted Fate, so he's got vision on the Fnatic members. He was just looking to see where they were. You can see the cooldown has been used. He ends up just porting to get up to a little bit further up the map quicker. But that's a cooldown blown. That's a cooldown that has been used, probably just in preparation for Baron, which is going to be the 4th of the game. Overdrive is used, Enrated is looking for a grab, but with Banshee's Veil up, Candy Pan has got that extra bubble of safety.
Thing is that there's a giant wave along the top, giant wave along the bottom, so they're going to be pushing on towards the inhibitor turrets, and Fnatic realize this, but they're only normal minions, but nevertheless, that is enough to take down their 2 inhibitors, which is why you can see them actually trying to push back on towards this one. They realize they're going to react to it. They're running straight to Baron now, SK Gaming. Fnatic are going to have to react, but this time I think they can fight for it.
Fnatic definitely can. They don't have enough minions pushing against them for the inhibitors to be at risk. In addition, with the amount of damage Pekka can put down, that's an actual steal potential as well. If he uses his Arcane Barrage on Baron itself, he may actually be able to steal that away. Right now, SK are looking for an engagement. The Cocoon doesn't catch onto anybody, but the Twin Shadows is used, so positions revealed, and SK, they've got position. They're going to rush down an inhibitor.
They're going to try and go for either the turret or the inhibitor. They're coming straight across the side. Fnatic will react to this one, and I think they're going to get in position. Quick enough, throwing out the hook. Kevin realized he was separated from his team, but immediately SK do come in to try and react to this one. Will we see? You do see the Candy Panda has just lost his Banshee's Veil. Can't get enough hits on towards that turret, and again, Fnatic hold them off.
Soaz has flash available, so with the fact that they got that Banshee's Veil down, the initiating power from Fnatic outside of the Cocoon and the Rocket Grab will be Soaz throwing himself at SK again. It has not worked all too successfully earlier in the game, but he's much, much stronger now, and if he does get a good 2 or 3 man slicing Maelstrom, it could turn the tide.
Ocelot steals away the blue buff. Oh, and I think he's going to go straight back for the inhibitor. Yes, he is. You can see him going towards it. This time, it's going to be Ocelot with the chance to backdoor. He's going to have his ultimate available if they're going towards Baron, but he's going straight for it. And you can see they're drawing Fnatic. He sees him on the wards, and there goes Ocelot. He's going to pop into the base. This is going to feel very good for Ocelot to get a bit of a backdoor action on towards Fnatic.
Oh,
he does take
irony.
down the inhibitor, and now the rest of SK are going to start off. They're looking towards the Baron. They're thinking of going for it, but Fnatic, they're quite unsure what to do.
They have no idea how to deal with it. They are completely caught off guard. Destiny was not even used by Ocelot, so he still has that ability available. He took down that inhibitor in, what, 2 or 3 seconds? That went down so quickly. Simply put, Fnatic cannot run the risk of Twisted Fate getting on the Nexus turret, so they have to give up another Baron buff just to stay in their base, and they're going to just be pitching their tents and camping it out.
That is the 3rd Baron for SK, the 4th Baron of the game. This has definitely been an action-packed fight. 56 minutes gone in this game, 22-15, 8-5 in turrets. It was Fnatic that almost, if you remember, was sieging on SK's bottom lane and trying to get in towards there with the Baron buff, but SK have turned this game back on its head once again. This time they've taken the inhibitor again in the bottom lane. Now the top one is exposed, and that's where SK are going to be pushing it. The mid lane is where they're going to pile the pressure on. You can already see Ocelot, he's heading towards that top lane. He's going to clear the wave, and again the split push begins.
You have to give props to Nick for this entire game because all of his crescendos have been so incredibly good. The one crescendo that wasn't spot on cost his team a fight in some positional, but that's it. The entire reason that SK got back into this game, that they got those additional Barons, was thanks to that Shurelya's Reverie, crescendo, and Yellow Star. And Rated and Cyanide, they're off to the side. They want to get a Cocoon followed up with a Rocket Grab and see if they can catch anybody out, but it's not to be this time round.
And just look at their minion counts as well. Peke, he's over 500, and actually quite a few members closing in on 400, 500 as well. There's a lot of gold in this game. We are collapsing, getting close towards the 100,000 mark for SK Gaming right now. 92,000 to just shy of 80,000 as well, so 12k gold lead for SK Gaming. And look, in that top lane, there he is again, that pesky Ocelot, trying to look towards getting those inhibitors down. True Shot Barrage goes up the mid lane. They're thinking of pushing for this one. You can see Hercubot's going to get dumped on, but he's not going to get taken down. And that is the ultimate down for Peke. That's going to signal the move. And you can see Ocelot, he's already on the inhibitor in the top lane. And well, the rest of SK, they're quite happily just buying him time.
Yeah, they're using the Baron buff to take as much damage as, or regenerate as much damage as possible. Super minions are on the Nexus turret. SK are using the map to their advantage. Another Rocket Grab goes awry, does not catch Candy Panda. SK are on the hunt for a win here. Ocelot is pushing the top inhibitor turret while the rest of the team continues the siege in the middle.
They're keeping the pressure on, and well, Ocelot, as you say, just keeps on going. There is a big super minion wave going to come along that bottom lane, but it has been cleared out for a while, so that's going to buy Fnatic a little bit of time. And Rated again wants to get the hook down, but that Banshee's Veil that Candy Panda's built up is causing him problems, so effectively nullifying the whole support champion that he's managed to pick up there. And now you can see the rest of SK Gaming, 5 members all ready to try and get in here. Cyanide desperately trying to find any opportunity. The hook comes in, and again, they dump it down. This time it's Kevin that caught out. Seros was popped there, but the shield was enough to stop it. And again, Fnatic fend off SK Gaming.
This is a very tense game, very tense engagements. Peke's ultimate is a 40-second cooldown, so every time they use that to try and pop somebody, there's that 40 seconds where nothing can happen because they simply don't have the burst required. But it is available quickly enough that by the time the next minion wave gets there, it's basically up and ready. Ocelot's going to take the mid inhibitor turret down. Yellowstar's picked the fight!
Yellowstar's going into it. Did you spray and pray? Is it going to be enough? No, it's not. He gets away. Oh, flash crescendo. Got away from that one. Hercubot goes in. Crescent Sweep comes across, but immediately Kevin's ultimate is doing damage as well. There's going to be the inhibitor turret going down. Now all inhibitors are exposed, and the rest of SK Gaming, they're pushing in on this one. You can see Peke's ultimate is back up. He's going for it. He's trying to land on towards Ocelot. You can see Zhonya's out. The hook comes out, but a straightaway Arcane shifts away from it. That's going to be the inhibitor going down in the mid lane. There's also super minions coming along the bottom. SK Gaming disengaged, but doesn't matter. The objective was reached, and that's another inhibitor down.
They lost a Nexus turret as well. Fnatic are defending so hard, but SK are playing brilliantly. Even though they're getting caught, even though they're taking damage, they're not stopping the pressure on the objectives. They get the tower down. They get the inhibitor down. The minions get a Nexus tower down. SK are in complete control of this map right now.
Just passing the hour mark now as SK Gaming close on the 100,000 gold marker. 10-5 in turrets, and that is 2 inhibitors down. The top one will be instantaneously taken down if Ocelot can get on towards it. We saw the damage he was doing, although it's taken him a long time on this blue buff. He can take the turret down quicker than he can take down the blue buff.
I don't think that the inhibitor or the turrets are quite as beefy as the blue buff at the 1 hour mark. It does get progressively stronger. Soaz right now just trying to keep these waves under control as best as he can. So with super minions in the middle and the bottom, it's just a matter of time. Once those minions get into the base, that is when SK are going to start toying with that top lane inhibitor. They're stealing away another buff from Fnatic.
And it's going to be the blue this time for Kevin. He's going to pick that one up, and he's going to push in along the bottom. They're actually going to shove the super minions in this time because they realize that Nexus down is going to have to buy them time. All 5 members of SK Gaming in this bottom lane this time. No split push messing around here. They want the fight. The Baron buff has run out, though, so they're going to try and have to do this one straight up. if they can catch on towards someone. It's still very dangerous, though, because SK, if they get called out, Fnatic definitely could take them down.
They're dodging every single ability so well. Candy Panda sidestepped about 3 Arcana pulses, and the moment I talk about, oh, call Rise!
They've hooked Kevin in, and he just gets dropped straight away, but Hercubot goes in, and that's going to be a slicing Maelstrom. They catch on towards Hercubot as well. Kevin is also in trouble. Nif's going to try and go down. Cyanide needs to try and land a little bit more poison. Ocelot, where's he gone? He's gone up to the top. He's split away. He's going to take down the inhibitor.
He's got it.
Just like that, he takes down the third and final inhib, and he runs away. Peke's trying his best to distract him, but the rest of the team, you see Candy Panda actually kiting the rest of Fnatic around, and that's going to be double super minion spawning.
Fnatic win the team fight, and so crucially, the bottom one respawned.
Yes.
During the course of the fight, the bottom lane inhibitor respawned. That means there are not double inhibitors, double super minions right now. But with the top and the mid inhibitor down, it will be super minions in those lanes. SK need to be very careful because Rise got popped. Rise should never be popped that quickly at this stage in the game.
Absolutely destroyed. Well, you say this stage of the game, it's the 62-minute mark, which means those death timers are incredibly strong. So, again, if Fnatic can turn it around, pick up a good fight, pick up a good engage like they did there, they may be able to push down and take some sort of objective. But it doesn't work out that way. Ooh.
600 CS on Peke. I don't know if I've seen a professional level game go to 600 CS in a very long time. There are not many games that get to this stage.
CLG Dignitas, I'm thinking, actually, recently in NA. There was a 72-minute game?
Touche.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm pretty sure Link was pretty high in that one, but I couldn't tell you the exact numbers. Nevertheless, it's a lot of bloody gold, that's for sure. 604, 506 CS as well for Ocelot. And off the side, he got 400 plus on the AD carries. They're closing in on 500. There's a switch, though. The Banshee's Veil has been sold out by Candy Panda, and he's picked up the GA. That's an important item. Ocelot with that Banshee's Veil. He's off to the side. He's looking at Peke.
He's looking at backdoor. He may be able to get that inhibitor. Destiny is available. He caught up Peke.
He's got the stun gun. Just look at the damage. Sidesteps away, and immediately Peke forced the flash and used the crescendo. But the Baron is going down again. This will be the 4th Baron for SK Gaming, then the 5th Baron of the game. The rest of Fnatic are chasing. Yellowstar catches on towards him. Flash comes out from Ocelot. Pulls out the yellow card. He's thinking, no way you're chasing me into that bush. And he just has to back away, but that's the ultimate used by Peke.
And the flash is down from Ocelot as well. So he was so scared of Yellowstar's damage, he did jump away. Mercurial Scimitar has been completed for Yellowstar, so he's going to be able to get out of that stun if he does get locked up. SK is stacked up in this middle and the bottom lane, and they're pushing in.
And remember, the ultimate's down this time around, so SK really want to force that fight. You can see Candy Panda going straight aggressive this time around. Does get in towards there. Enrated still trying to throw out those hooks. Can he land the right one? Hercubot ready and waiting to go in there. Overdrive used, not going to use it this time around. Candy Panda actually getting caught. Locked up a little bit.
Good flash
from Kevin there. Gets away from that hook. The cocoon's landed on Candy Panda. There's going to be the ultimate back out from Peke. Just how quick it comes up, but they do manage to take down the inhibitor. This time they have got all the inhibitor turrets. There's super minions along the top and middle lane. You can see Peke's doing all he can, anything to keep his team in this game.
They have one tower remaining, one last bastion of hope to sit back on and hope and pray that SK cannot take it down. Candy Panda gets hit really hard by Soaz there, and the fact that he doesn't have Banshees means if he does get hooked, that's going to be an instantly dead Candy Panda. Middle inhibitor has respawned. Double super minions not available right now, but SK are going to carry on the pressure.
There'll be one wave coming in. You can see them. It's a very long wave, chunking along that bottom lane, the top lane, and the mid lane. But it is going to be the final inhibitor going down once again, and that's going to keep the pressure on towards Fnatic. They are fighting for their lives right now at the 65-minute mark. Nif is just sat off at the side, waiting and hoping for that flash to get back up. He really wants to set that big last engage.
Yeah, if he gets a very good crescendo onto Yellowstar, Soaz, or Cyanide, he just needs to lock up one of them. They can burst that target down. That's an aggressive move by Candy Panda.
Very aggressive. He's actually low on mana as well. We both have passed the 105,000 mark almost for SK Gaming now. 90,000, 91,000 picked up by Fnatic as well. So very high gold count in this game. It is definitely one for the history books. And if SK Game can take it, well, it will be definitely one for their history books because it will be the first time in a number of years in League of Legends action. They do get it. Oh, the hook! Just missing out. Kevin does the flash crescendo. There it is. It catches 4 members out. Cyanide gets dropped down. Extreme explosions. Hercubot goes down. Cyanide has to back away from that one. We see Kevin getting dropped as well. But look at Peke. He gets
gets caught out. The wild card's flung out. Candy Panda catches that kill. They're on to the final Nexus turret. They don't care about the kills. Yellow Star's going to go down to the wild card. That's going to be his Shuriken coming out as well. So does manage to get himself a kill, but now the Super Minions, they are all stacked on towards that Nexus. SK Gaming could pick up a historic moment here if they could just finish the game.
It's so close. Ocelot gets knocked up in the air. He's popped the Zhonyas. Minions are on the Nexus.
Nif get hooked in as well. Soaz is going to get taken low. He's not going to be enough. He gets dropped. Candy Panda picks up the kill.
They've done it.
They turn on towards it.
SK
It's going to
Gaming
be
has done it.
SK Gaming finally get the win against Fnatic. It's taken them 20 tries, but they've finally done it. And you can just see what it means to them. Hugs all around. Fantastic play. What a game for SK Gaming.
I cannot believe how they finished that out. They killed 25 million inhibitors during the course of that matchup. It took a long time to break through that wall, but once SK did, they managed to get the Nexus down. 19 losses. They've finally avenged it. Score is now 1-0 for SK.
And there was pressure put on that team last week from the management. We all saw the tweet, Reddit saw it. And well, SK Gaming have responded to their management questions and immediately go 2-0 this week, week 3. And wow, what a way to do it, taking down Alternate, who were top of the league, and Fnatic, who have not beaten in 2 years.
Sean Connery, Nif needs to get a mention here, going 007 before giving up his first death. His crescendos were so crucial in those team fights. Positional play was great, decision-making was great. SK still have a few small things to tweak in the very late game, but that was a great performance from them.
And you know, speaking to Ocelot back in DreamHack, he was talking about how he wishes it was on patch 3.8. Finally, we're on it. He was saying that's how much they've practiced on. They really wanted Moscow to be on 3.8. It wasn't to be. And now we see them finally on 3.8. We just see how they can perform. They have been brilliant this weekend.
It was a fantastic game as well. So hard fought. Fnatic, they kept themselves in it. They held on to some hopes. They had a few moments that were good, but simply put, the Cocoons and the Rocket Grabs were not game-changing. They were not powerful enough in the mid-game, and I don't think they landed enough. The few times they did, they won fights, but they needed more of that at earlier stages.
And you just got to look across the board. I mean, in terms of gold, there's a number of players actually starting to close in on the 30,000 gold mark.
There are some games that are over by 30,000 gold. Like,
yeah.
And this is in individual bank accounts. I mean, it's crazy numbers.
An incredible, incredible game. The final timer was 1 hour, 6 minutes, 31 seconds. Definitely a long game. Not the longest we've had in the LCS history, but it's definitely up there. And well, we're going to have some analysis of this one. I don't know where the hell to start, honestly, but Jason is going to try his best to take us through one of those fights.
And Demon and Trevor, that was a ridiculous game lasting over an hour. And as like you said, over 100,000 gold for SK right there. But like you said, I don't even know where to begin with the analysis of that entire game. But we're actually going to start with a replay early on, where Ocelot in the top lane is actually going to make a very smart play. We ends up actually getting 3 kills for 2 in the end. We'll get the replay on the screen in just a second and take you through it. But SK, they almost threw it. Actually, yeah, it's over at the top lane, if we can get it over there. Actually, that's not even the right time. We'll get there in a second, but it was SK just multiple times where they just, okay, there it is. All right, let's pause it about right here. And you're going to see, you have right now Ocelot going to be coming up towards the top side, trying to go for the gank on Soaz. They've done this multiple times, but as you can see on the minimap, currently right now, Xpeke and Sign are going to be heading up there. So let's roll it, show you exactly what happens as they manage to get Soaz down here. But the real point is that they don't realize what's coming at them. Like, they don't really notice with this ward right here that they're actually going to be coming, actually, sorry, they do notice that they're going to be flanked from the back. Obviously, you got to give credit to Kevin for that nice little dodge right there. But here they come in from the backside, and you have to give really good credit to Ocelot, as we're going to see here. But Cyanide, he's going to flash in for Kevin to go for the kill. But Xpeke, he's already set up for it. He already got it. So now Cyanide, who eventually is going to pay the price for it, you'll see in a little bit. But Ocelot, he's going to dance around the turret for a little bit. He gets some really nice stuns on Xpeke, keeps him under the turret, so he takes a little bit of extra damage. And Ocelot trying to like say, team, where are you? Come help me out. As you do see Hercubot coming from the side. Ocelot ends up going down, but Hercubot ends up picking up this kill. And Cyanide, who ended up having that flash used earlier on, ends up dying. So in the end, it was a 3-for-2 trade, but it kind of shows what SK has been working on. It shows that they've been working on their synergy really well together. Really reminiscent of what we've seen with Alternate in terms of the team always being there at the right time. We do have one more replay, which actually set up a big thing for SK in middle. And it was what Nif was trying to do the entire time. He kept trying to get these flash crescendos in to really open up an entire fight for SK to win, since they didn't really have the ability to do that themselves. Like, they needed that hard initiate, and he was the person to do it. So we'll get the replay on the screen and walk you through exactly what gave them, I guess, a fighting edge in this, because it really shouldn't take, and that's not the right time either, as we're going to go back. But the replay. So we're going to start off about here, and you see on the minimap right now, you have them set up for this. They're trying to go in for a flank here. They really want to make something happen, and you're going to see that flash crescendo come out, and it's only going to hit Yellow Star, but it doesn't matter. Hitting one person is enough. They blow him up instantly, and just because of that, it opens up the entire game for them where they have some sort of a lead. So as unfortunately, he's overextended too far. No one's able to dive into the backside with him. As you see, Sana just wasn't able to get there, and they end up picking up 3 kills, and it's going to continue to roll as Asla, unfortunately. I don't know what you were doing there, bro, but you got killed right away. As expected, I was just waiting on the sideline, but a little bit later, you can see Candy Panda actually come in from the backside. He picks up an unofficial quadra kill, but in the end, it was an ace for SK, and it got him in the game. As you can tell in the goal totals, like they were behind a good amount until this fight. And he's gonna pick up that one. Great job by SK right there. And as Demon and Trevor were saying, I believe it was 3 or 4 Barons going over to SK in the end. I think that's the most taken out of any LCS game ever, including North America, but still well played to SK. Now they're 1-19 against Fnatic finally. I guess they have to feel really happy about that, or maybe they're 1-0 now in the new series that's gonna be happening. But anyways, we do have an interview over with Shox, and she's with Candy Panda.
Thank you very much, Jason. Yes, I'm here with Candy Panda, who had an amazing game on Ezreal, and well, I saw Ocelot this morning, and he said, well, you know, I feel that this is the day we're gonna take him down. Is it because of the victory against Alternate that you were that confident, or?
Well, we just kind of played our game. I mean, we won versus Alternate, which was very good, but we just saw it as another game, so we just played it like that, and it worked out.
You especially had a really good game, and you didn't choose to go for the blue Ezreal build. Why is that in this case?
So I really liked Israel, but I found with the blue build, you just kind of stand there and kite them, but I wanted to go in and kill them. So I tried around a bit with the builds, and I found that Bloodthirster into Triforce is the most damage, where you can go in and you can just kill them instead of kite them.
Yeah, and that's what you did. Normally, you had games where you had advantages against Fnatic before, and then in the mid-game, it kind of slipped away. How did you prevent that from happening this time around?
Okay, so after we came back from Moscow, we noticed that we really lack in closing our games, in the mid-game especially. So we really tried this week to just train the mid-game, train how to close out games, what to do in the mid-game, and we just did that.
All right, just generally the atmosphere in the team seems to be at a real high. Are you going to be able to keep this up? Because that's usually the problem for SK Gaming.
I think we all learned now that we just have to keep performing. We can't just take a break after a good performance. So we will keep practicing, especially next week. I think like we got better, but we aren't yet where we want to be. So next week we will train even harder, and then hopefully we will stay at the top.
Great to hear that. Thank you very much, Candy Panda. Now, as for us, Ninjas in Pajamas, brand new lineup, did fantastic in their first game versus MYM yesterday. But how can the changed up roster perform against the Russian powerhouse that is Gambit? We'll find out after the break.